Good morning to all those tuning in. This is the Web 11, and today we're playing Equinox. Equinox? I don't know. So, this game is actually fully voice acted, which I'm actually super excited for. So, let's get right into it.
Once upon a time, in a far forgotten wood, there was a vast legend that all understood. If one touched the bright moon high in the sky, it would grant great power, but not to all who try. If a creature was clever with courage and might, the power could be harnessed, if the attempt was just right. Failure was common. Very few could succeed, as many of them were driven solely by greed. Those trying to capture the moon for their gain would meet its wrath and suffer its pain. The myth of the moon is still but a mystery, one left untouched for all of history.
Okay.
Once upon a time, there was a shy little bunny in a forest long since forgotten. They fell in love with the beauty of the world. Each night they hopped from tree to tree, hoping for a view of the sky above and the stars that rested there. On an evening no different from the rest, the bunny emerged from their home deep underground, eager to explore the world once again. They knew the sun would soon rise, and so they hurried to admire the moon. As the bunny darted through the woods, careful and quick, their foot crunched loudly upon a small brittle twig. The poor young rabbit looked on with fright as the moon above them shattered, and all semblance of the great glowing moon was swallowed by the night sky. Then, in the darkness, specks of light appeared. These shards of the moon tumbled downward to the mortal world and across the very forest the young bunny called home. Without a question, without even a doubt, the bunny knew that something must be done. They had stepped on a branch and broken the moon into tiny pieces and knew that it was their responsibility to fix it. Buried in darkness, they cast aside their fear, determined to do whatever they must to return the beauty of the moon.
Alright, that's a really nice intro. Oh, okay, I'm the spot of eyes. Oh, that must be the bunny in its burrow. A lost moon shard fragment. The bunny decides to collect it. So I do actually really like the fact that it rhymed. Now, am I supposed to touch those? Oh, it's randomly generated. And those are not good to touch. Good to know. Not that it tells you. Shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a very simplistic platformer. And what I do like is that the enemies look really distinctive, and that the bunny itself is very well detailed. But I'm gonna have to chastise the game for having very simplistic and essentially, oh, wait, what? No, don't tell me. Am I supposed to do that with every one of the enemies? Oh no! So, the black boxes are kind of jarring in the gameplay, and I personally believe that the dev could have put in the extra time to make them more a part of the world instead of something that looks out of place, if that makes sense. Oh, damn it. Okay, at least we gotta start from scratch. It's a lot harder when you actually have to jump on them. But like, the controls are great, they work great, so that's not an issue. It's just the black boxes. It's just, they put in so much work into the art style that it just seems lazy in comparison. And I guess that's kind of what... Shit. Yeah, that's the one thing that gets me, I guess. Shit. I do like how, if this is randomly generated, it does seem like it's done in a way where everything can be gotten, and it won't be what do you call it? You won't soft lock yourself, essentially, which is actually quite nice. Oh, it's one of those things. God. What you do have to do here, though, is you definitely have to drop down some before actually oh no. So that one actually can't be gotten. I think I have to use a heart piece to push it off the ledge. But I think I'm going to skip that one in the future. And if I need it, I'll just die and start again. And then just cut to when I actually do have all of the star pieces. Oh, I know how to get that one, actually. It's gonna be one of those up and over type of things. But yeah, the only thing I do with... Oh, no, it's not. What kind of decision is that? That space is too small, I guess. And then there's just no way to that last one. Yeah, you know what? It's kind of a shame that you can't get them all. And I do hope it's not gonna be one of those things where you have to. Because you just can't. As you could see, I was locked out of 2 of them. And seeing as you can't double jump, that does make things a little harder. There's so much to actually like about this game that it's kind of a shame that they didn't put in the extra little effort for the platforms, because they could easily have been tree branches or I don't know, anything really. That's the thing with this game. There's just that potential. Shit! Okay, I'm gonna cut. When I get close to the end, I will be back. Okay, so we're back. I got everyone except for like 2, which I missed because I couldn't get to them. Oh. What the hell am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to dodge? Oh, I did it. Okay, that's actually clever. And I like that. I don't like the safety platform though. I do wish that was kind of different. But otherwise I like it.
The first constellation was the foolish fox, whose tragic flaw was thinking inside the box. Years ago, a greedy king heard the myth of the moon and sought its power for himself. He called upon the fox, a loyal member of his royal court, to venture into the great beyond and retrieve it. The fox barreled his way through the forest, paws creaking and cracking over the dense thicket floor. His mission? A journey to the place where the sky ceases to roam and return with the jewel of the night sky. After days of travel that saw his sharp claws worn to mere pebbles on the rock, he arrived at the horizon. The sun tucked itself to sleep, trading out with the moon which climbed steadily into the sky. The fox yipped and chased after the moon, jaws eager to clamp down on its pearly prize. But the foolhardy fox did not realize that the moon was not so easily won, and his jaws closed down on evening air. His leaps brought him no closer, and his feet eventually gave out under him. He fell to the ground, and he returned to the king, the moon still hanging in the far-off heights of night.
Oh, this thing's so cute. The bunny feels the body infused. With the speed of the moon, they have learned the dash ability. Use spacebar while moving to dash. Ooh, we get to... Does that mean we get to use a double jump eventually? Okay, I will say, I don't mind. I will also say I'm not gonna really pay these things any mind, as Well, they don't do anything. And it seems to be that... Oh. The level just repeats themselves? Ooh. That was a moonshine. We need that. The bunny collects a moonshine. Oh, okay. I didn't see that in the last level, so I wonder if that's a new thing? And don't get me wrong, the constellation boss is really cool, but I really hope that it's not gonna be a thing where you basically do that for every boss, as that's gonna get really repetitive. But we'll see. Ooh, Lupus, the wolf. Shit. Oh no. Okay, that was my bad. There we go. See, now this boss has its constellation points way more visible, which I think the fox also needed but didn't have. See, this is a kind of a way to cheese the boss. Oh fuck! Which is actually quite interesting. So if you're quick enough, you can basically get it to be frozen by the time you... Wait, what? How did I lose 2 health already? Excuse me? I wonder if I got hit by a red star somehow. Oh. Okay, now we have the 2 hardest, in my opinion. And
the
there we
wolf
go.
went wrong by being too wary, as they found the world around them far too scary.
Okay, I will say... Oh, actually, I'll leave it.
The fox, having failed to catch his mark, was soon replaced by the courtier wolf. They padded across the path plowed by the fox, much more cautious in their stride. After some time, they reached their quarry along the sky's end. Not even the grass behind which they hid noticed their presence as the wolf lay in wait. Soon the day's end came as well, the sun yawning and tagging out with the moon, which began its faithful ascent into the sky. Ears and nostrils flaring, the wolf stood up, crouching as they prepared to pounce. But their paws hesitated, wary of whatever fate may wait them if they took chase. They stood poised in indecision as the moon crept further and further away until it was much too high for them to grasp. They let out a mournful howl that echoed across the night, reaching the moon and becoming swept up in its orbit. The wolf, too, had failed in their mission.
Alright, what did we get? The bunny's limbs are flooded with the strength of the moonshine. The double jump ability! Use the up arrow. Well, yeah, the double jump. Hell yeah. So, I do have another problem with the game. As like the concept is great, don't get me wrong, but the game doesn't seem to make every level that comes out more challenging and basically forces you to use every ability that came before it. Which is really weird that it doesn't make you do that. The bunny collects a moonshine. So yeah, I do think that the game overall is well done with a really nice story along with really nice visuals for the most part, but the game does seem to lack polish. For example, in the platforms, as one area, the story, when it's the narrator's reading it out, it could, in all honesty, auto advanced the what do you call it? The descriptions of what she's reading out, and then Ursa Major, the bear. And then the other thing is, the game is way too simplistic in its levels. So honestly, I see the game as wasted potential. And the boss fights don't get any more difficult, as like they could honestly have each animal have a different attack pattern, different attack moves, maybe even different movement patterns, as this is all very samey, which is, I would say, the most disappointing part. And there we go.
Brutal Bear's method was always to fight, unaware that violence could never be right. After the failure of the wolf, the king sent the mighty bear to obtain the moon. The king had begun to lose patience with his court, but knew that the bear would use all of her strength. As the day's sun wore away, she set out from the castle, traveling through the vast forest towards the horizon. The amber sky faded to inky black, and still she traveled onwards. She lumbered towards the setting moon, beady eyes focused on her target. The bear waited until the moon hung low in the sky, and then reared up, reaching as high as she could. Her vicious claws slashed skyward, thrashing at the moon to no avail. She brought down her paws with all her might in a powerful stomp, but still, the moon refused to fall. Defeated, the bear had to return to the king, empty-handed.
Now, what is our fourth ability? Upon picking up the moonshine, the bunny is overcome with a sense of urgency. They have learned the double dash ability. Use spacebar immediately after dashing the double dash. Unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna be too useful. Now see, this is a level which I kind of wish we had earlier, as this actually ramps up the difficulty. So, damn it, I died. One thing I will say though is that I do want the, like, it's the same enemies. Like, if you look close, they look really cool. Excuse me, I double jumped there. Like, they look really nice, but the problem is that they're the only enemies here. Fuck. And they aren't that visually interesting. Well, I shouldn't say that, they are, but they're not visually interesting when you have a background that doesn't seem to quite match the game around it, along with these enemies that look visually interesting but are basically walking on black bars. Like, why can't I be running on the ruins and then have multiple paths open up with different enemies, falling traps? I don't know, this is one of those games that I feel has tons of potential but is lacking. The bunny collects moonshine. So we have one left, which is fitting because we have one constellation left. But even that's weird because we have, what, dozens and dozens? Why isn't there a constellation per motherfuck? This game's gonna piss me off. Like, I'd rather, instead of collecting shards along the way, have each moon fragment be a constellation boss, and then have like secret areas where there's a hidden collectible, and at the end each collectible is like a different gallery image and like some background and some stuff like that. Like, that would be really cool. But like, this game, I don't know, just a lot about this game has potential, and I love that. But that's the problem. A game with potential is just that, a game with wasted potential. And you can't judge a game on what it could have, as it doesn't have that, you know? But it's what it is. Can't do much for that. Aquilia the Eagle. I've actually never heard of this one. Like, and the constellations, to my knowledge, are accurate, which I appreciate. And see, this one moves differently. But The other ones don't. And there we go.
The eagle's greed stretched from his beak to his wings, fully convinced he was the best of kings. His royal court had failed him, and with his need for the moon's power growing ever greater, the Eagle King took to the skies. 2 great flaps of his mighty wings sent the trees shivering with the chilly wind the smallest creatures could feel from deep within their burrows. He climbed higher and higher into the sky, ice gathering on his wings as the air around him got colder and colder. As he approached, the soft glow of the moon cast its light on the eagle's face. He reached out to touch it, but as he did, he felt no rush of power. He had reached the moon once before he had become king, and felt the power it gave. In fact, this power was what allowed him to become king in the first place. When he first ascended to the throne, he was a kind, compassionate ruler. But, as time went on, he became consumed by his own greed, and the power of the moon began to abandon him. Desperate to regain what he lost, the eagle began to peck at the moon, hoping that more power laid underneath. As he dug deeper, cracks began to form. The eagle noticed the cracks growing, but he continued his pecking, becoming more and more forceful. Suddenly, the moon completely shattered. One by one, each of the 8 shards fell to the ground. The eagle dove, trying to catch even one, but each shard eluded him. Even though the moon was shattered, it still would not let the eagle steal its power. He watched as his court and soldiers turned to stars until he, too, became a constellation. The brave little bunny, their journey complete, was rewarded at last for their marvelous feat. For through them, though they were incredibly shy, the moon was brought back to its home in the sky. But their strength did not come from their brawn nor their size. In fact, something different allowed them to rise. The bunny was kind, quite loyal and smart, and above all else had a brave little heart. So this tale of the bunny, moon, and stars is told o'er campfires from near and far, shared in the kingdom among dances and songs, under the bright moon, back where it belongs. And thus, the little bunny defeated the great Eagle King who had so coveted the moon's power. From him, they took the last shard of the shattered moon and climbed to the very top of the castle spire. There they untied their bag and took out all 8 of the glowing fragments. The fragments shimmered and twinkled, light dancing across their dusty surfaces. The bunny marveled at their beauty and gazed up at the twilight sky. Here, thought the little bunny. This is for you. It doesn't belong to me and should never belong to any one creature. Ever so gently, the bunny held up each fragment and watched as they floated, one by one, up towards the sky. The shards spun and twirled around each other, rising above the little bunny, above the old evergreen trees and the vast castle towers. A bright light flashed through the sky, and as the bunny looked upwards, they saw the moon had returned above. Gray-blue moonlight shone across the lands, illuminating all in its beauty as it once did years before, and as it would for years to come.
Okay, so that was Equinox. I overall will say I like the game, but unfortunately it has to come down to the story really coming in clutch for the game, as the art style was very mixed, as there were some aspects that were done amazingly well. Like that ending cutscene, it was amazing. Like the colors, the visualness of it was better than most of the rest of it. And then there's other aspects that let it down. Like the platforms, the background not being very coherent, as it's supposed to be in a forest. Then the voice acting was great, but what was with that audio glitch at the end? I don't understand that. I don't know. Overall, I really like the game, but there's just so much to it I feel that's holding it back from being a great or even fantastic game. But that's where I'm gonna leave it off here. So, thank you for tuning into The Frequency. This is the Rebel Lemon signing off. So, good night and sweet nightmares.